God, I hate that. God, I hate that.
I know, and
I don't care how many drinks you had. I don't care how many drugs you had. You ought to be ashamed of yourself talking to somebody like that. I just hate that. I don't know why anybody thinks that they're better than somebody else because of the color of their skin or religious preference or sexual orientation or anything else. I could care less. Makes me sick. People against Cantu, this is Francisco Elijah's Cantu, 25F244-762A.
good morning, Judge. Detailed Williams on behalf of Francisco Cantu, who's standing to my left. Today is the date set for SHOCKS.
Good morning, Mr. Williams. And your name, sir?
Francisco Cantu.
I placed your client on probation on January the 29th of 26 and ordered him not to consume alcohol. And I have a charge here that alleges that he would fail to refrain from consuming alcohol or drugs, testing positive for alcohol. And then it says he was subsequently arrested for OWI as well as resisting obstructing officer. So how was he going to proceed on this?
Judge, if it may, as a matter of housekeeping, my client is going to plead guilty to violating your probation. However, and we certainly can do that, but I'd like to bring you up to speed as to what happened up in Standish, Michigan. I actually represented him in Standish. And then
I mean, I don't have a problem. I'm just telling you, you get a drunk driving, you go on probation. And you
understood.
go out and get another drunk driving, you got a big problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Judge, we're fully aware of that. And that's why Mr. Cantu was able to retain my services to come here. And I'm hoping that after I explain the circumstances and what the judge did up north, with you in mind and the probation down here in mind, we might be able to move forward.
So, sir, do you wish to plead guilty to this charge or fail to refrain from consuming? So that case has already been disposed of.
It is, Judge.
So I'm gonna count this as two different violations. One, failure to refrain from consuming. I can have them amend the show cause if you want.
Judge, it's not necessary.
So otherwise, I will simply state that with your permission, that count one would be failure to refrain from consuming alcohol, which is a technical violation. Count two is that he was convicted of operating while intoxicated. Was he convicted of operating while
He
intoxicated?
was, Judge.
Was he also convicted of resisting obstructing officer?
Misdemeanor resisting, obstructing a police officer.
So really I've got three counts here then.
Correct.
And so I have your permission to treat them as three counts.
You do, Your Honor.
Sir, if you plead guilty to failure to refrain from consuming alcohol on March the 27th, can you call Jessica in here, please? That would be deemed a technical violation. You pleaded 5 days on that. If you plead guilty to violating a law, operating while intoxicated, and resist and obstruct, those are two different offenses. Those would be a conviction for violation of law. Those would be deemed to be non-technical violations. You could get 93 days on those charges. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Did he sign an advice of rights form today?
You did. Where is he?
The yellow advice of rights, there we go.
Can I approach?
You sure can. You can integrate the safety.
I'll do that.
If
You
you,
fill that out, and we're obviously familiar with those advice rights.
if you plead guilty to this, sir, I want you to understand that your probation on those two charges could be revoked. Do you understand that? As a result of those two convictions, you could get 93 days. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And again, did you sign, read, and understand the advice of rights?
Yes.
If you plead guilty, you'll be giving up all those rights, and we're not gonna have a hearing or a trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Your name?
Jessica.
He's agreed. We're treating them as three different counts. Count one, failure to refrain from consuming alcohol. Count two, being convicted of OWI. Count three, being convicted of R&M. So, to the charge that you failed to refrain from consuming alcohol, testing positive on a PVT on March 27 to 26, how do you plead to that?
Guilty.
Did you consume alcohol on that date?
Yes.
And did you have a PDT on that date as part of a drunk driving arrest that registered .165?
Yes, sir.
Was the count two that you were convicted of operating while intoxicated arising out of that offense date of March the 27th of 26? How do you plead to that? Were you convicted of operating while intoxicated arising out of that offense?
Yes.
Is it the charge that you were convicted of operating, of resisting obstructing officer arising out of that offense date on March the 27th? How do you plead?
Guilty.
And were you convicted of that charge?
Yes.
Anybody force you to plead guilty? All right, I'm gonna accept your plea. So again, taking your pleas to all three counts, one technical, two non-technical, which again, on a first technical, you can only get 5 days. On the crimes, you understand you could get 93 days with credit for any time served on this case, correct? Just let me make a note here, and then I want to listen intently to you.
Big judge.
All right, Mr. Williams, go ahead and tell me what you'd like to say.
So number one, Judge, thank you to your staff, especially Ms. O'Donnell, for allowing us to meet with the show cause. Kept in touch with the court because at one point in time I hadn't been retained in this case yet. I told him that, you eventually need to hire an attorney. And I'm glad that he was able to hire me because I represented him up in Standish. So Judge, he gets put on probation later. Doesn't get out to a good start. Then obviously this particular situation happened. Judge, it was a high VAC, it was resisting. Obviously,
What was his blood
alcohol level was a 2.6. Judge, he was almost, now, the good news about this judge is, and I've seen all the squad car videos, that Mr. Cantu had the wherewithal to pull over. And at some time, he pulled over, his car was in the park, it wasn't in a Taco Bell parking lot. And then obviously.
It was in a
It
Taco.
was not, Judge, it wasn't in a drive-through, so in other words, it was not per se operating the vehicle, but he obviously got there. The trooper came upon him, he was dead asleep, and the resisting came from when he was waking up and obviously being intoxicated.
Where was he pulled over?
It was in Standish, Judge.
I know, but whereabouts?
Judge, I wanna say.
Side of the road?
Yeah, it was on the side of the road.
Expressway?
Yeah, it was near I-75. Okay, it was actually, it was I-75 near M190, which is the Standish exit. So, but it was in park, he was asleep, he pulled over and parked his car. So that is what I want to make clear it wasn't an accident, so on and so forth. He was belligerent and it raised to resisting, but after the prosecutor and I looked at the squad car video, that's when he agreed to reduce it to an attempt. So as we're going through the PCC and the preliminary exam, he got a court date here at one point in time.
Why was he charged with a felony because of the assault resistant obstruction?
Correct. Yes, Judge. It's a 2-year.
Right.
Right.
So there was no other reason other than that he was charged with felony because he only had the one prior.
Correct, Judge. As a matter of fact, they reduced the OWI to an impaired, but impaired second, but it really doesn't matter. It was, so he pled guilty to the impaired and the attempt RNL, which is a 1-year misdemeanor. Actually both 1-year misdemeanors. So in the midst of that, we were actually, when he got one of the court notices, we were actually up in Standish. And that's when I called the court and realized that he missed a date down here. And then I think they reset it to June, and he was in the Aranac County Jail. So as I discussed this matter with the judge, he wanted to know what was going on down here, what would happen. And I said, well, I know Judge McNally well, and hopefully I have the opportunity to represent Francisco on this case. And so what the judge did was he wanted to hear from my client. And it was one of those, I'm gonna put this guy in jail for 9 months. That's what he had in his notes that he showed me. And he goes, and I want to hear from Mr. Cantu. And Mr. Cantu didn't play games with the judge, was forthright with the judge, and he ended up getting 25 days in jail on both cases. He has an immobilization of his vehicle that's mandatory. We're working that out because he's going to turn his car in its lease. And then he has an online offender correction.
How long did the judge give him to immobilize the vehicle?
Actually, he needs to resolve it this week. So, because again, what he's doing, he's turning his car in on a lease. His mother's here, drove him today. Obviously, his license has been revoked because it's 2 within 7, so he's not driving. Throughout all this, he's managed to maintain his employment with Hydraulic, which is an automotive wiring company in Roseville. He's still residing in Warren with your father, correct?
I'm by myself.
Okay, you're by yourself, but he's still managing to at least keep his job. So what the judge said to me was, if he lived up here, he has some contacts up there, I want to put him on probation. You know, that's what I want to do. And so they had a dialogue and they had an understanding. And he said, what I would like to see is, you know, he said, and that's up to you, Mr. Williams. And I told the judge, I want to represent him and go back in front of Judge McNally. He lives here. He's in this area. He's not going to have a
He
drug.
lives in Warren though.
Well, yeah, I understand that, Judge. So I'm not talking about, what I'm saying is, if you put him in jail, he's already done 25 days. I suppose I could have made a motion to try to get something to run concurrent, but he didn't have the resources to do that. My idea, Judge, is that he's done his 25 days, and now we've got a very young man that has 2 drunk drivings. We avoided the felon. And my idea is, I don't think we should give up. I think
Give the police report, one of
Yes,
you.
it- Judge.
How
I
bel-
I highlighted the specific section that I'd like you to take a look at as well.
Must have gotten pretty belligerent.
That was section I
The
highlighted.
judge is saying 9 months.
Judge, it was, Judge, we don't need to repeat it on the record,
I
but
won't,
the vernacular was, it was egregious.
gotta hate that. Gotta hate that.
I know, and
I don't care how many drinks you had. I don't care how many drugs you had. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, talking to somebody like that. I just hate that.
Yeah, I didn't play.
I don't know why anybody thinks that they're better than somebody else because of the color of their skin or religious preference or sexual orientation or anything else. I could care less. Makes me sick.
Judge, you know, and
Wow.
it does,
And then you're talking to a police officer like this. Well, can you come here, please? Next time. It's right. It's down there. I know there's something. I take care. Yeah. Can you see the screening? Yeah. Is your father in your life? I mean, are your parents still married?
Uh,
Has your father been in your life?
yeah.
Go ahead.
Judge, you know, and, and I know what people wanted to say out loud was that, you know, and I'm gonna say it, the fact that police officer was not African American.
Was not.
Was not. And I believe if he was, you know,
You just don't.
I don't think there would have been, I don't think he would have been given the consideration, but here he is speaking to you and Judge Voldrich did the same thing that you're doing right now, just looking at him and gave him the opportunity to say, well, why am I not doing this? My client did, was able to extend an apology to the trooper. And, you know, and it's a small.
Where did he do his 25 days then?
He did it in there. County.
All 25 days?
How many did you do? Did you do all 25?
I think it was about 180.
He had credit for one judge and that was a good time. So he did, I want to say it was 21 or 22 days.
Judge, if I could add, I looked up his case today. It's still listed as open, so I assume he was sentenced to probation on this as well. I don't know if he's aware. He's scheduled for a show cause hearing for tomorrow on July 21st.
That is because of the immobilization issue. That's it, because that's going to be mobilization. And we're obviously working on it. He still has the online, course. He has the offender correction program, and as I said before, Judge, it's the immobilization. So I'm in contact with the probation department. He's hopefully getting the car turned in today. If not, he's got to go up there and show.
Do you have the order of sentence from the Standish judge?
With my notes on it, Judge.
Well, I mean,
Sure.
I'll take it your word.
Yeah.
So he did place him in probation anyway, am I understanding correctly?
What he did was, he placed him on probation to complete these particular terms.
That would work, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then obviously the judge said, I'm not gonna.
So he did serve,
Right, I'm sorry, Judge.
We're not on record.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're back on record. We had a little problem. He's not on probation. It says probation none.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't sure based on when I looked it up on iMikeWorks, all I saw that it was still open and it was scheduled for a show cause, so that's.
He just ordered him to complete an offender corrections course within 60 days. Did he do that yet?
No, he's not done that yet.
Why not?
Well, that's money. Honestly, because it's an online, he's got to pay for it online. He's keeping everything, he's trying to keep his job, obviously tried to retain me to come before you. It's on his to-do list, he still has time to do it. And then obviously the immediate thing is the immobilization. And he's gonna have to be down there, he's gonna have to be there tomorrow. Ironically, the lender's up there. He just couldn't go turn the car into the dealership. The lender had to pick it up, and they've been playing games with him that they're gonna bring a tow truck driver to get it. So he may just have to bring his car up directly to the lender tomorrow because he has the show cause. I'm hoping we can resolve it today. But you know, nonetheless, and then the online is $150. He'll be able to do that. He's just clearing one hurdle after another. And judges, you can see the way they bifurcated that is 20 days on the drunk driving or the OWI is 25.
He passed all his tests all the time on us?
We were doing twice monthly testing. He showed up for testing. Testing was always negative with us. They didn't have any issues with testing.
Did his court work, he did his community service, he did this,
He did not, for us, he only did his two court work program days and his victims impact panel. He did not do his 8 hours of community service. I never received any proof of that. And then he did not complete the substance of abuse class B order. to complete.
that's the problem. We can't beg people to do this. What was the date of the offense on this case again? I'm talking about the one out of Arlington, out of, yeah,
April, Judge? So
March 28th.
Yeah, March 28th.
you know, maybe if you'd have gotten in the treatment program between January 28th, 29th and March the 28th, maybe this wouldn't have happened.
And if I may, Judge, therein lies what I'm thinking from, and what the judge, what the Judge Wolbeck in Aaron was thinking. He says, obviously I can't put him on probation up here, but you know, and I can give him 6 months, and then he doesn't know you, but I know you. And so Mr. Cantu has been punished up there. He hasn't been punished down here. I get that. And maybe he should to some extent. That's up for you to decide. But 25 days in jail, let's say you did 45 here, you did 25 here, and you cut him loose. That's not gonna solve anything. And so he doesn't have a driver's license. He still has a job. We have a sober link available. He's got a million resources up in Warren to get the outpatient, probably talking about an IOP now. That's something to consider. To punt and do whatever is, you know, maybe he has learned his lesson, maybe he's done whatever, but all I know is that we have an individual on 25 years of age, you know, 2 drunk drivings and a high VAC. And I'd like to see him, do the work, you know, whether that includes jail from this court and then continue probation. You know, that's the way I'm seeing it, Judge.
Any thoughts?
Again, I think Mr. Cantu is young. I think these are 2 back-to-back drunk drivings. He's 25 years old. I think that we need to realize that there are consequences for that. You can't play games. This was cases and warrants for a while before he finally got some representation to help clear this up. Again, I think the police report too, I don't like how he spoke to the officer and the resisting, things like that, that whether you're drunk or not, that's no way to speak to somebody. Again, I think there just needs to be some serious consequences. I don't think probation is the answer. Especially considering the fact too, we still have a show cause scheduled on the other, it's the case he did jail time. I understand it's regarding immobilization, but as of right now, it's not time for that.
Yeah, ruin your life before it starts, you know that? All you gotta do is get one more of these between now and 2090, and you're gonna have a felony. I mean, I'm torn. I'm not gonna mind telling you. I mean, I've got a kid here that complied with our probation for the most part, but didn't do some of the most important aspects like the treatment. Didn't do his community service. Passed the test, but then he goes out and drinks. Not only does he drink, he gets obliterated. Not only does he drink and get obliterated, he blows over 3 times the legal limit. I don't have enough time to get you through sobriety court. If you lived closer here or even in Warren, I could get you through sobriety court, but now it's too late. You're 6 months into your probationary term. I don't like the way you talk to this officer I think that's something you're gonna have to look in the mirror and chastise yourself about. And if you're not willing to do that, then there's something wrong with you. Really. I just don't go for the bigotry out there and talking like that. I don't understand why people think they're better than other people. I mean, I guess if you're emperor of the world, maybe you are, but you're not, and you'll never be. And none of us will ever be. I want you to take a copy of this. I want you to give the original back to Mr. Williams.
There's the front and back as well, Judge.
Yeah.
You didn't notice.
Times I get a little stumped, and I shouldn't be stumped at all. But I am. Because I still think maybe, just maybe, you're still worth saving, but you gotta grow up. Mom, he's gotta grow up. I'm gonna assume you were never raised to talk to people like that.
Definitely not.
Well, then don't do it. Here's what I'm doing. Only because I don't want to make a knee-jerk reaction. I'm setting a sentencing date in 3 weeks. I'm setting a bond, a personal bond of $2,500. You're to be on a SoberLink device by the end of the day. You are to be in intensive outpatient treatment by the time you come back. You are to test weekly. And if I was you, I'd make sure I had my community service done. If any one of those things are not in order, you will get 93 days with credit for time served for me. I don't have to run these concurrent. They don't arise out of the same event, transaction, or occurrence, and I don't have to, and I won't. Do we understand one another?
Yes.
Give me a sentencing date in 3 weeks. SoberLink device by the end of the day, Mr. Williams. If you want to have him, where's your office again?
I'm in Troy.
I don't mind if you want to zoom in and have him zoom in, or he can come to your office, better yet, one or the other. Give me a date, Heather, please.
Do you want to do that, August 17th date,
That's
the week after
perfect.
you're back? Okay. We could do, I'm sorry, 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock. Is that good, Mr. Williams?
It is. Thank you for asking. I personally. I can be here. And how much community service was it?
8 hours.
I personally think you're gonna be doing a lot of this for naught. Okay? Because I'm not likely to cut you a bit. But I don't like to make knee-jerk reactions. Your lawyer's making a lot of sense here, even though you talk like filth. And I'm gonna think of it, because I want to make sure I'm right, at least to the best of my ability. I want you to take this report back. I want to see all these reports again. And I want to make sure that you give him a copy of this and this. I want the screening. Can you get those to me like 3 or 4 days with the memo before then? You're to stay in touch with your probation officer, and you are to let her know where you are with all of this. I would make sure you are 100% compliant. Mom, you better tell him how serious the judge is. If he can't read it by now, I don't know what to tell him. Good luck. We'll see you on that date. Thank you. People against.
Judge, do you have an objection to EMS tether? It's in Hazel Park, like a mile away from Warren.
Use house arrest, which is in Warren.
You
Okay,
guys work that. Okay,
And
we
then-
always use house arrest.
and then community services, can you do it up where he lives?
You can do it in
Here?
Timbuktu if he wants.
But.
Be a nonprofit organization.
Fantastic, thank you.
Rupish Mel, nice to see you. Rupish Malhoda.
You too, Judge. See you soon.
67843-475.